I can see that everybody is very happy and chirping with this wonderful British weather that we have this morning. I must say it's really a great pleasure to have you all here after visualizing the event so many times over the last 9 months with the organizing team. To start the day, I'm going to speak for a few minutes. I'm not going to need visual support because you already have the visual support in the program and in the concertina programs that you have in your badges. These are very useful wherever you go. Even if you carry nothing but your hands in your pockets, you can get orientation both in terms of content and where to be at the exact moment. I'm going to try and explain the logic behind the program so as to help you prepare for the sequence of quite different activities through which we hope to reach the forum's goal. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Raphael Billet, where is he? There, who has given decisive advice on the overall framing of the forum from the very start of its preparation. So, what is it that we would like to accomplish in these 2 days that we have in front of us? And how shall we go about it? I'll start by saying that there are 3 things we want not to do. The first is to reinvent the wheel, as if biodiversity were a new, freshly discovered problem. The second would be to discuss only or mostly in the abstract, far from the world of action, whether the action is on the ground or in the decision making. I must say that the speakers in yesterday's prelude, that was session 1, have brilliantly dispelled these 2 things that we did not want to do. The third thing we wanted to avoid was to adopt the now familiar sequence in which one starts to spend time considering the horrible problems we have with biodiversity, then turn to reassessing that we, this time, really must do something about it, and then spend the rest of the time reviewing the nice ideas that we have and the tools for action so that we can leave the events relieved. We have gone through that sequence. We have realized the problem. We know there are tools. So what we would like to do here is start really from where we now are and to explore the way further. So session 2, the 9 speakers in session 2 this morning are going to set us on the starting line by reviewing the commitments, the tool, the indicators by which we usually finish, or in the previous years we usually finished our events, and give us that current state of the art. But they will do more in 2 ways. First, they will focus on the challenges of implementation, what they see as the main difficulties and crucial things to do to make these things, the commitments, the tools, the indicators work. And beyond that, the speakers, but also the discussions between us, will also have to wonder whether, even if we implement the commitments that we already have, is this going to be sufficient to solve or even to navigate the biodiversity crises? We are going to reflect also on the gaps that still exist in the commitments, let alone their implementation, which is one problem. We will also have to address the gaps of things we have not yet addressed sufficiently, and that will be addressing that will be part of the agenda for the next year, and we have now also to focus on this. In session 3 this afternoon, we will concentrate our efforts on looking at the medium and long-term futures of biodiversity issues. It is true that over the last 10 years approximately, futures of biodiversity has become an active field of investigation. But it is still much less advanced than in other fields of sustainable development, like energy futures, climate futures, demographic futures, etc. This is for a variety of reasons. Some come from the disciplines that study biodiversity. Ecology, anthropology, etc., have their own reasons that make it difficult for them to turn to studying futures rather than the present and the past, but they are gradually getting there. There's another set of reasons very important for us here in this room that come from the fact that usually we use consideration of biodiversity futures only rapidly as an alarm. We say, look, this is how bad it could get. And then we immediately turn back to the emergency mode. Now is the time to act. What can we do now? We must increase our capacity to look seriously, taking our time, not switching back into emergency mode, looking in detail into futures in which biodiversity and ecosystems may become very different indeed from what we have now. More different than we would like, almost certainly, but in ways that we have to consider seriously, that we have to prepare for if we want to just not undergo the transition, but be able to manage it to a certain extent, to retain some choice over the level and the kind of biodiversity that we or our proverbial grandchildren will have in 2050 and beyond. For this afternoon, we will break into 3 groups. They will have identical briefs. There is no thematic or regional differentiation. And our facilitators and rapporteurs, who are experts at these sorts of things, will take us through about 3 hours of work. In these 3 hours, there will be a time for personal reflection on biodiversity futures and what the material means for us, and then a time for sharing and discussion to identify where we must improve our understanding of biodiversity futures. And this will set an agenda for work of research in enterprise, in government, in academia. How can we think more, work better on futures? Tomorrow is another day, so I will be shorter on the rest of the program. Tomorrow morning in session 4, we will have 4 breakout groups again. This time they will be thematic. I will not run in detail over the contents. The first 2 will be on financial needs and on accounting and tools and indicators. The third will be on how far do we have to change the way we organize and the rules of the games. Those who look at the program will see only 1 speaker there. We have excellent speakers, but we changed speakers while the program was being printed, so you can trust the speakers in that slot. Breakouts 4 and 5 on forest and marine ecosystems will let us into the biodiversity challenge through huge case studies. In the afternoon, after the reports from the breakouts, I will underline a few highlights from our discussions to trigger the last plenary debate of the forum. And finally, the last hour of the forum will turn to our feelings and aspirations towards biodiversity. This dimension is crucial, and it pervades all debates, as we have seen yesterday. However, it's a dimension that the ecologist, the economist, or the bureaucrat, however motivated they may be, have languages that are a bit clumsy to grasp these issues. And so we will turn the floor to 4 artists who have accepted to take us down their route into the coming biodiversity issues. So overall, we count on your involvement in these sessions. They will be more active as the program evolves, and we look forward to intense and fruitful discussions throughout the forum. Thank you very much.